English class. Today, we are going to talk about determining the worth of ideas mentioned in the text listened to. Are you ready to listen? Then, let's begin. Do you have a favorite song? How did it become your favorite? Maybe because you love the rhythm? Or you are touched by the lyrics? If you find two reasons applicable, then you're a great listener. Hear sounds around us, and it's always our choice to pay attention or to just let them pass through our ears. For you students to be able to acquire a second language, you must listen attentively for you to learn. That's why it's very important for you to develop good listening skills. Before we proceed on our discussion, let's first see what you know. Let's answer this activity. Write through if the statement is showing how to get the worth of ideas in the text listened to, but write false if it's not. Number 1. Make sound conclusions and or generalizations based on the text listened to. Number 2. Interpret data and form conclusions based on that data. Number 3. Only listen to the things that you want to hear. Number 4. Be subjective when you listen to somebody. Lastly, determine the presence of lack of logical relationships. That's a good try! It's good that you have a little knowledge on how to determine the worth of ideas in the text listened to. How about we try another activity? Write the things that you've listened to as given in the different scenarios that are happening in your daily life. Write your answers in a one whole sheet of paper. Write the first thing your parent, sibling, grandparent, or guardian told you in the morning. Write the first 2 lines of the first song that you've listened to today. Lastly, write the at least 3 lines uttered by a character in the movie or TV show that you've watched. So, how did you find those activities? Were you able to grasp knowledge on how to determine the ideas in the text listened to? Were you able to practice your listening skill? Very good! Now, let's first differentiate hearing and listening. Hearing is an accidental and automatic brain response to sound that requires no effort. It refers to our ability to perceive noise and sounds. It is easy for it is accidental and automatic, and passive for it is involuntary and effortless. It has the physical function because it involves the ears. For example, we are familiar to the sounds of siren of the ambulance, the laughter of our friends, the rattling of pots and pans in our kitchen, and so on. We hear those incidental sounds and we train ourselves to ignore them unless we have a reason to do otherwise. On the other hand, we have listening. It is purposeful and focused rather than accidental. It requires motivation and effort. It is active, focused, concentrated attention for the purpose of understanding the meanings expressed by a speaker. It is hard for it requires practice and being alert. It is active because it involves conscious effort and requires focused involvement. It also has an internal behavior factors because it involves mind and body. Therefore, hearing is accidental, involuntary, and effortless, while listening is focused, voluntary, and intentional. So, what are the keys to effective listening? Number 1. Maintain eye contact with the speaker if possible. Number 2. Pay attention and listen for ideas. Number 3. Find areas of interest. Next, judge content, not delivery. Number 5. Don't interrupt and be patient. Number 6, hold back your points and counterpoints. Number 7, resist distractions. Number 8, pay attention to the facial expression and gesture of the one speaking. Number 9, keep your mind open and be flexible. Number 10, ask questions during pauses and give feedback. Number 11, listen with empathy to try and see the speaker's point of view. And lastly, anticipate, summarize, weigh the evidence, and look between the lines. Now, how are we going to determine the worth of an idea? To determine the value of an idea, we should look at number 1, how rare it is, and number 2, how worth keeping it is. Be guided by the following questions every time you look for the worthy ideas of the text you listen to. Number 1, what is the topic of the listening text? Number 2, what is the important idea presented in the text? Number 3, how is the idea being presented? Explicitly or clearly stated or implied or hidden? Number 4, what helped you determine the worthy ideas presented? By the squares markers that emphasize a point or by the tone of speaker's voice? And number 5, is the idea presented worth keeping and worth sharing to others? Why? So, how do we connect critical thinking in getting the worth of ideas in the text listened to? Critical thinking occurs whenever people figure out what to believe or what to do, and do so in a reasonable, reflective way. The concepts and principles of critical thinking can be applied to any context or case, but only by reflecting upon the nature of that application. Critical thinking skills include observation, interpretation, analysis, inference, evaluation, explanation, and metacognition. But who are those critical thinkers? Critical thinkers are those who are able to do the following. Therefore, critical thinkers must engage in highly active listening to further their critical thinking skills. People can use critical thinking skills to understand, interpret, and assess what they hear in order to formulate appropriate reactions or responses. These skills allow people to organize the information that they hear, understand its context or relevance, recognize unstated assumptions, make logical connections between ideas, determine the truth's values, and draw conclusions. Now that we're done, let's try this activity. Get a piece of paper and let's answer. Write F for false and T for true if the following shows how to get the worth of ideas in the text listened to. Number 1. Test conclusions and generalizations. Number 2. Only select the things that you want to hear. Next, always consider your opinion whenever you interpret what you have listened to. Number 4. Read between the lines by recognizing what is not said or stated. And lastly, gather relevant information. Are you still up for another activity? Alright, let's go! Let somebody read the text and listen carefully to it. Determine the idea if it's worthy or not. Write W for worthy ideas and NW for unworthy ideas. Seatbelts. Click. That's the sound of safety. That's the sound of survival. That's the sound of a seatbelt locking in place. Seatbelts save lives, and that's a fact. That's why I don't drive anywhere until mine is tied. Choosing to wear your seatbelt is as simple as choosing between life and death. Which one do you choose? Think about it. When you're driving in a car, you may be going 60 miles per hour or faster. That car is zipping down the road. Then somebody ahead of you locks up his or her brakes. Your driver doesn't have time to stop. The car that you are in crashes. Your car was going 60 miles per hour. Now, it has suddenly stopped. Your body, however, is still going 60 mph. What's going to stop your body? Will it be the windshield or your seatbelt? Every time that you get into a car, you make that choice. I choose the seatbelt. So now, determine whether the following ideas are worthy or not. Number 1. Think about it. Number 2. Choosing to wear your seatbelt is as simple as choosing between life and death. Number 3. Seatbelts save lives, and that's a fact. Number 4. That's the sound of survival. Lastly, that's why I don't drive anywhere until mine is tight. Very good, students! Thank you for giving your best in answering those questions. Congratulations for completing this lesson. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I will see you again. This is your instructor Kyla, always at your service. Bye!